So come on. Hey, 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 hey. Rock the night away. 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 Come on, rock the night away. Rock the night away. Rock the night away. Celebration time! Oh yeah! Happy Independence, Bahamas! Huh. Okay, let's celebrate our culture, D-Mac style. This lady walked to me with some problems on she mind. Says she wake up every day, now she want to unwind. She asked me where to go, tell me she want to get hot. I tell her if you want to know, there's only one sweet spot. To have a jamming time to let go your mind, it's down in the bush. Oh, to have a swinging time to shake up and whine, it's down in the bush. So I took her down in the bush to have a real good time, to let loose and whine down in the bush. Ain't no one in your business, cause everybody dancing in the bush. Jamming up, when it's up, shake it up, back it up, jump up, when it's up, shake it up, down in the bush. Shake it, shake it. Oh yeah. Bush music. I asked her how she feeling, if she was feeling fine. This how we just do it in a bush bohemian style. Only this bush music will make you feel alright. I asked her if she want more, then she hold me tight and say if it's all night, it can be alright tonight. That's what she say. If it's all right, it can be all night tonight. Cause I take her down in the bush. I say, baby, come this way. I let your body sway. Now wind down to the ground. People jumping up and down in the bush. Bush party. Bush party. Bush party. Bush party. Bush party. Bush party. Yeah. Stay down in the bush. Man, play them on. Play it all night long. Do this rake and scrape. T-Connection style. Happy Independence!
Children, you know, schooling now, typing, I'm getting these lessons. We gonna do this like this, okay? Sit down, open the chapter 12. We gonna do it like this, you hear me? Hey! Yeah! Oh Lord, I'll be back! Man, what is this you dealing with, boy? Hey! Enough, boy, what's happening? Listen, let me tell you what happened. Okay, go like this. Children, you ready?
Jack and Jill went up the hill. Oh, they say they was going for water. Say what? Foolish Jill forget her pill. And now they got a son and a daughter. They blame it on the water. Yeah. They blame it on the water. They blame it on the water. Oh yeah. Woo. The water.
What you mean the water? What that mean?
Oh, they blame it on the water.
The water?
They blame it on the water.
Hey.
They blame it on the water. Oh yeah. The water. Check this out, look out. Humpty Dumpty was drinking on the water. Oh, Humpty Dumpty, he had a great
Bring it
fall.
on, Bram.
All his drinking buddies, all his drinking friends couldn't push Humpty Dumpty back together again. Cause the water, woo, woo, eh, they blame it on the water.
The water?
Oh, they blame it on the water. Oh yeah, the water. Oh, they blame it on the water. Oh yeah, the water. They blame it on the water. Oh yeah. a pickaninny. She can't get them children to sleep. She makes the garden late that night with 2 cups full of Methuselah. I got this here. They see that morning come. Oh, it's the water. The water. They blame it on the water. The water. They blame it on the water.
Tonight, the Trade Union Congress threatens industrial action, but many affiliates decide to bow out. We've got that story. This as the country records the first murder for the year. And later, a new bilateral agreement signed in support of aviation in the country. Eyewitness News starts now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Janae Noel. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping news tonight, contrary to expectations of widespread strikes, the country's labor force largely remained at work today. The Trade Union Congress, or the TUC, and its affiliates had planned a nationwide strike, citing that the Davis administration's failure to honor commitments outlined in a memorandum of understanding signed over 3 years ago. While minor disruptions were reported, including issues with air traffic and schools in the capital, the most significant impact reportedly felt in the nation's healthcare sector, pushing the system into a state of crisis, according to officials. Our Laurencia Smith has been on the ground covering tonight's top story.
We are in crisis, but we are making headroom to move forward.
That's the managing director of the Public Hospital Authority, Arbonette Roll, providing an update on the state of the country's healthcare system on the heels of what was expected to be a nationwide strike on Monday by affiliates of the Trade Union Congress that only saw healthcare personnel in New Providence and Grand Bahama participating in industrial action. Now we're standing outside of the main entrance of Princess Margaret Hospital, and as you can see, patients are still lining up to receive treatment here at the facility. Now, the managing director confirmed that she and her executive team have a contingency plan in place for the next 48 hours.
So our solutions, it's always fluid. So healthcare is fluid. Things differ. So we have a strategized process for the 48 hours, but we always have a backup pool in the event that persons are sick, on leave, whatever. So that continues. But what we have done is we have strengthened what we have put in place to ensure that we have more numbers.
At 10 a.m. on Monday, Roll reported that 90% of junior doctors and 60% of senior doctors did not report to work. She also noted that 10% of nurses have joined the strike action. In Grand Bahama, about 25% of healthcare workers did not show up for their shifts, with approximately 15% of staff at Sandilands Rehabilitation Center also absent.
We're also in those areas where we have specialized nurses and persons trained. We have pulled them from the other areas to be able to support the nurses. We're also grateful to retired nurses, retired TCNs and RNs who have come together to help us, and we have a pool formed to be able to facilitate for the next 48 hours.
After waiting nearly an hour here on the grounds of the office of the Prime Minister, as we were informed that the president of the Trade Union of Congress, Obie Ferguson, was set to meet with the nation's chief, Prime Minister Davis. However, we learned that meeting didn't happen. Now, prior to what was supposed to be a nationwide strike among the affiliates of the TUC, the union chief shared with us their grievances.
For 3.5 years, under this administration, we have held up our part of the MOU agreement. Despite regular meetings with the Honorable Prime Minister and ministers of the government, we have not been able to get the respect and support necessary to resolve many of our labor issues.
The PHA chief highlighted from her position at the negotiation table what she understands the grievances are for the unions.
And move forward with industrial agreements for 3 years. Since then, management, in collaboration with both unions, BDU and CPSA, have met continually to come up to what we call that median point that is comfortable and reasonable as well as sustainable for the PHA, for the employees, and for the government. To that point, both unions have not been satisfied with any of proposals. Okay, and so I am not sure what their exact complaint is, but we have met consistently.
Now, the junior doctors are represented by the Bahamas Doctors Union. The senior doctors are represented by the Bahamas Consultant Physician Staff Association, and the nurses are represented by the Bahamas Nurses Union. Laurencia Smith, Eyewitness News.
Meantime, the Minister of Labor and Public Service, Pia Glover-Roll, dismissing claims by the Trade Union Congress President, Obie Ferguson, that the Davis administration is falling short on promises to workers. She says the government remains committed to honoring that agreement signed with the then opposition leader, Philip Davis, despite the union's concerns over accountability.
So today, as we anticipated, there was no widespread action. Fortunately, we also ensured that there were contingency plans in place. So where there was disruption, it was minimal. But of course, we want to ensure that there is no disruption when it comes to servicing our public in our various departments, ministries, and units. So where there was some disruption in the public hospitals, we're working with the minister. We're working to ensure that we have doctors, nurses back in place where possible. We had small disruption with the air traffic controllers, and we think we have started to resolve that matter. Schools, we saw some minor disruptions locally in terms of New Providence and some in Grand Bahama, but for the most part, there definitely was no widespread action, and it definitely wasn't on a national scale.
Glover-Roll also commenting that plans were in place regarding the possibility of a national strike to ensure that no major widespread disruption would be felt.
In reference to Mr. Ferguson's statement regarding specifically the Memorandum of Understanding, I don't know how he qualifies it, because the Memorandum of Understanding is about 96% complete in terms of delivery. There are a few small outstanding matters, maybe 3 or 4, maybe that amount, that are still being worked through with the Prime Minister at the Prime Minister's level, and we are quite satisfied that we've delivered on the Memorandum of Understanding, of which the benefits are being enjoyed not only by the union members but by the unions themselves.
Meanwhile, leave mass industrial action in the past. That's the word tonight from another Union Congress leader who insists that Trade Union Congress affiliates are employing ineffective and, quite frankly, outdated measures to get the government's attention. Our Jose Etienne joining me live in studio to further discuss. Jose?
Janea, after word spread that members of the Trade Union Congress were planning on striking first thing Monday morning over reported existing issues, other union congressmen began making it clear through various press releases just hours before the pending industrial action that they are not jumping on that bandwagon. But why? Well, for President Dwayne Woods, who heads the National Congress of Trade Union Bahamas, the answer is quite simple.
The road that the TUC is taking is archaic, and there's better ways to solve these issues.
President Woods seemingly denouncing an ongoing national strike being held by affiliates of the Trade Union Congress as of Monday after TUC President Obie Ferguson gave his members their marching orders. Their concerns stem from parts of a pre-election memorandum of understanding that Ferguson says government has yet to honor.
All 3 Congress should have collaborated together, put all their actions together before it get to the level where he's proposing to be a national strike. How could it be national when we are the national voice of labor in the country and we have no idea what they're doing?
Rumors of a strike got to the ear of Prime Minister Philip Davis, who also took exception with pending industrial action. He previously condemned it in December of last year, suggesting that TUC members were overreacting.
The government is working on more than 80% of that MOU have been lived up to. Not all has been accomplished as yet, but I think I would give the government its kudos for working with and working through the process of social dialogue.
Woods made those comments as he spoke directly on the relationship between his Congress and government. But does those comments support the argument that unions which refused to support the TUC's protest are in bed with the Davis administration?
Because we do not agree with certain actions being taken, that means that we are a mouthpiece for the government. We have to be responsible to the Bahamian public as well.
However, observers say this exposed what appears to be disunity in the trade union movement, a point Woods did not shy away from.
I haven't spoken to Mr. Ferguson, no, at all. They never invited us to collaborate with them to see what their issues are, and we are unaware of what their issues are. There is a discord, and there's not a united front when it comes to labor.
Woods' fellow Union Congress leader, Belinda Wilson, also mincing no words as she railed against that industrial action called by Ferguson.
Mr. Ferguson, your bowl of porridge is cold. So now you're crying.
Wilson sought to drive that point home as she accused Ferguson and other union members in July of last year of allowing themselves to be used as political pawns by the then opposition Progressive Liberal Party when they signed that MOU, notwithstanding claims, though, that the PLP wasn't the only political organization that was able to put pen to paper with the TUC.
You're using workers to push your own personal agenda. Stop it.
Now, Janea, residents were advised to brace for a national strike that many thought was going to bring the nation to its knees. But that was not the case. As we're told, just 2 or 3 affiliates with the TUC took action. Today's protest also coinciding with the majority rule holiday that was sparked as a result of labor movements held decades ago. But union leaders say existing issues today do not warrant another Burma Road riot or a general strike similar to what Bahamians saw in 1958. Reporting live in studio, I'm Jose Etienne. Back to you, Janelle.
Thanks so much for that report, Jose. Meantime, the leader of the opposition Free National Movement, Michael Pintard, in a press release issued Sunday night, suggested that the nation's leader has been, quote, too preoccupied with parties, travel, and photo ops to provide any meaningful solutions to the myriad of issues presented by the Trade Union Congress. Pintard asserted that Prime Minister Philip Davis's late response, which came via a statement issued 2 days after rumblings first emerged concerning an impending sick-out, is evidence that he has watched union tensions escalate in plain sight, but did nothing to address the issues proactively. The opposition's leader's statement also highlighted that, quote, hundreds of workers remain in limbo, waiting to be regularized despite the cabinet's prior decision to confirm them. For more on that statement, log on to our website, ewnews.com. Still talking news from labor, the Bahamas Union of Teachers President Belinda Wilson also addressing what she sees as a lack of dialogue between her union and the Ministry of Education and its minister, Glenys Hanna-Martin.
Well, the minister said it's time to be supportive. Ask the minister when was the last time she met with the leadership of the Bahamas Union of Teachers. So if you want support, there's something called dialogue. There's something called communication. There's something called consultation. So if you want support, first of all, you must show us your strategic plan.
Attempts to reach the education minister were unsuccessful up until news time, but Wilson also sharing that in her view, the issue is beyond the control of a specific ministry and requires the combined efforts of the entire Davis administration.
Minister Pia Glover Roll, you write to her, she responds. You send her a WhatsApp message, she responds. We've been having our meetings, our quarterly meetings, on a regular basis. So I believe that she is trying. However, I believe that labor around the cabinet table is not a priority. But the matter is bigger than her. And I believe that the Prime Minister, I don't know who he engages with, because the last time I met with him was February of 2022. We're almost in February of 2025. But I've written to him over and over. I've requested meetings with him over and over.
On to news from the crime beat tonight. Authorities in Exuma are investigating the discovery of a body found floating in waters on that island. This coming to reporters just moments before news time. At this time, details are still sketchy on this discovery, as police officials have yet to provide additional information. It's unclear as to whether or not foul play is suspected. However, investigations are said to be ongoing. An investigation is also currently underway into a shooting that took place this morning shortly after midnight in the Big Pond area. It resulted in the death of a 27-year-old man, marking the country's first homicide for the year. Initial reports indicate that the victim was standing outside a residence on Lakeshore Road near Tucker Road with two other individuals when a black American-made sedan approached from Rubinane Lane. An occupant of a vehicle reportedly got out and fired multiple shots toward them, causing that group to scatter. The suspects then fled in the vehicle, heading south onto Water Street. Police reportedly arrived at scene and found the victim suffering from gunshot wounds to his upper body. He was rushed to hospital by emergency medical services, where he later died from his injuries. The country has recorded 11 murders by this time last year. It's a story we are continuing to follow. On to some other news tonight. Are drug investigators from our northern neighbors targeting alleged international drug operations involving Bahamians? Well, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Fred Mitchell, has raised concern about strategies being used that could be impacting Bahamians, placing them at the center of these high-profile investigations. The details on this developing story, we go to our Linton Ritchie Jr., who joins me live in studio tonight. Linton?
Good evening, Janelle. With a number of Bahamian men arrested by international investigators over the past few months after reportedly being secretly watched with no heads up given to local officials and authorities on various investigations. Minister of Foreign Affairs Fred Mitchell says these instances are ones that officials are watching closely, as in his view, some of these men are possibly being lured in.
It appears that American informants have actually induced Bahamians to fall into error.
With a number of Bahamian men finding themselves behind international bars due to alleged drug crimes, Minister of Foreign Affairs Fred Mitchell expressing concerns to Eyewitness News of what he perceives as signs of alleged entrapment patterns at the hands of United States drug investigators. Last week, two cousins from Grand Bahama, Alfred Lang and Runo Lang, were arrested in waters off Pompano Beach and are now facing charges of attempting to allegedly smuggle approximately 188 kilograms of cocaine into the U.S. And international media reports indicate the family duo was already under watch by U.S. drug investigators due to a drug bust in summer of 2024. Mitchell says the alleged occurrence of Bahamians allegedly being lured in by United States investigators are becoming far too normal.
There's a pattern of conduct with American investigators and law enforcement officers of planting people to induce them to trap themselves into law enforcement problems.
But how much of a wrench can this throw into the country's reputation?
Partners might be unwittingly causing damage to our country by these inducements. So that's a concern. It does, at a superficial level, reputational damage on the country, but not at a fundamental level.
With that U.S. indictment levying allegations of an international alleged drug operation reportedly being orchestrated here in country, and that vessel leaving Bahamian waters driven by the Lang cousins, both reportedly under watch by U.S. officials, Mitchell says the ministry was not aware.
As far as the foreign ministry is concerned, no notice of these operations going through the Bahamas was ever provided to us. So that becomes a serious concern, which we have raised with our international partners.
However, he sends this message to those who may engage in criminal activity.
People are responsible for their individual behavior. They know that this kind of conduct exists. They know that that is the law enforcement modus operandi of U.S. officials. And so, caveat emptor, beware of what is out there, and do not get yourself into these traps.
Now, Janea, in relation to the Lang cousins, they are reportedly expected to be arraigned early next week in Florida courts with Assistant U.S. Attorney Nadia Hay serving as the prosecutor. For now, I'm Linton Ritchie Jr. reporting live in studio, sending it back to you, Janea.
Thanks so much, Linton. Meantime, Police Chief Superintendent Elvis Curtis and former Royal Bahamas Defense Force Chief Petty Officer Darren Roker having their initial appearance before a New York Supreme Court last week on drug and firearm-related charges. It's the second time both men have appeared before United States courts after they were slammed with a critical indictment in November of 2024 that exposed alleged acts of corruption. Curtis Roker, and recently dismissed Police Sergeant Prince Simonet are among over a dozen individuals accused of conspiracy to import cocaine into the United States, possession and use of firearms, and firearms conspiracy. During their appearance before Judge Gregory H. Woods, the Brady warning was given. It's a pretrial discovery rule outlining that officials must disclose all evidence to a defendant which could either exonerate or impeach that defendant. The men are accused of using their positions as law enforcement officers to help drug dealers from Colombia and the Bahamas smuggle tons of cocaine into the Bahamas and later the United States. The indictment also alleges that a network of corrupt Bahamian government officials helped facilitate cocaine smuggling into the U.S. Meantime, Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell also telling Eyewitness News that Bahamian officials in America were present for that arraignment, as he also reveals steps which relatives of the defendants are taking as they prepare for a pending trial.
The consul attended the arraignment in New York. It was just a status hearing. No bail was granted. We are advised that the families provided private attorneys for them. They appeared from the report to be in good physical condition, and I'm advised that there should be a consular visit either today or tomorrow. And then we'll have more information. But, consular visits are largely driven by the requests of the individuals concerned, I imagine for privacy and other reasons. But it's our responsibility, wherever a Bahamian citizen is interdicted around the world, to make sure that that person is in good shape and is being treated fairly. And thus far, it appears on the face of it that they are physically okay, and we should have a further report before the end of the week.
Well, Nikolai Shetty and Jamiko Wright being brought before the magistrates court last week Friday after authorities say the duo played a role in the brutal killing of Keith Allen and Jeff Augusti. Both men were killed during an early morning shooting back on December 6, just steps away from a club on East Bay Street and Okra Hill in New Providence that both men were at just moments before they were reportedly gunned down. However, the gunmen have not been charged. Shetty and Wright were not required to enter pleas to the abetment of murder charges when they appeared before Magistrate Samuel McKinney. They were both denied bail, and the matter was adjourned to March 4th for the presentation of a voluntary bill of indictment. Meantime, Wright in particular was charged along with his mother, Jacqueline Smith, and stepfather, Al McNeil, after police recovered a single round of ammunition from their home just days ago on January 6. Wright pleaded guilty and was fined $500. Failure to pay the fine would mean 6 months in prison. As a result of Wright's guilty plea, the case was withdrawn against the mother and stepfather. Wright also pleaded guilty to possession of 20 grams of Indian hemp and 50 grams of methamphetamines. He was fined $1,000 and would serve a default sentence of 6 months in prison for non-payment. Also from the courts, Wright also standing before the courts on charges outside of an alleged connection to that Okra Hill double murder. He was charged, as we said, along with his mother and stepfather. Of course, it's a story we are continuing to follow tonight. Now, on to some other news. Commissioner of the Bahamas Department of Corrections, Don Clare, explaining to Eyewitness News this afternoon that viral video reportedly involving a female prison officer engaging in a physical altercation in a barbershop last week with another woman is now under investigation. Clare wrote the findings from the investigation on that video should be forwarded to the staff tribunal for necessary action, if any. He says once that step is completed, then his office takes over. While the circumstances surrounding what led to the blows exchanged in that video aren't clear, in the video, the purported voice of the officer continuously says, "That's my son. My son is in here," while grabbing the woman and pulling her by her hair, punching her multiple times. It's a story we are continuing to follow tonight. Meantime, Eyewitness News is also probing the circumstances surrounding a video circulating on social media purporting to show law enforcement officers of a residence of a man who claimed he was being harassed by authorities. The individual's post on Facebook, which captured the ordeal, has gained lots of traction on social media. It has apparent photos and videos from the residence's camera system purportedly showing officers from various law enforcement uniform branches seeking entrance into that residence. The resident decried the experience, claiming that he's being wrongfully accused of having drugs and illicit firearms in his possession. He also decried what he described as wrongful aggression towards relatives, whom he says he fell victim to what he described as a hostile approach by authorities. Eyewitness News attempting to speak with that resident. Those attempts were unsuccessful. Of course, it's a story we are continuing to follow. Also, all attempts to reach law enforcement were unsuccessful up until news time. On to some other news tonight. The Bahamas and El Salvador take to the skies in an historic partnership, the two nations signing a landmark air service agreement. It's paving the way for greater aviation connectivity and economic opportunity. Ambassador His Excellency Sebastian Bastian says this is more than a deal. He says it's a bridge to mutual growth and development.
It's not merely about the establishment of airlift between the Bahamas and El Salvador. It is about connecting our people, our cultures, and our economies. Enhanced air connectivity will facilitate the movement of travelers, support tourism growth, and open doors for greater trade opportunities between our regions. It represents a bridge that brings us closer together, not merely geographically, but it's also in our shared vision, economic growth, and development.
Air Service Agreement establishes the legal framework for scheduled passenger and cargo services between the two countries, paving the way for increased tourism, trade, and cultural exchange. The agreement reflects both nations' commitment to strengthening bilateral relations and also fostering economic cooperation.
Together, we can unlock opportunities, strengthen industries, and create sustainable growth that benefits both our citizens and our countries. I wish to express my deepest sympathy, hardworking, and gratitude for both sides, the Aviation Department of El Salvador and the Civil Aviation Department of the Bahamas. Thank you for your hard work in making this day possible. To my colleagues, thank you for Foreign Affairs. Thank you, Foreign Affairs El Salvador. As we sign this agreement today, let us be reminded of our shared responsibility that comes with it. It is the responsibility to ensure that our partnership is not just a document, but is a testament to what we can achieve when our nations unite for the common good.
If you've got a news tip or if you've seen news in the making, call the Eye on News hotline at 397-6397. We also invite you to send your letters to the editor for publication on all of our social media platforms at eyewitnessnewsbahamas@gmail.com. And if you're watching on our Facebook or YouTube page, share your thoughts about today's stories in the comments section. We want to hear from you. We're just getting started in Eyewitness News tonight, but when we come back, are there concerns about that COVID-like strain in the U.S. and internationally? We've got the details coming up. And later, the MP for Exuma addressing concerns in his constituency. We've got more on that right after this break.
With BGC's crystal clear mobile service, stay connected seamlessly, whether on land or at sea. Our reliable postpaid plans keep your loved ones closer, no matter where life takes you.
The most important thing in life is family, and whenever you need reliable advice, you look to the people you know you can trust. At J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, we earn our clients' trust every day. Whether it's home, motor, travel, or commercial insurance, we've got you covered. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
What? You don't know who TDC is? Tourism Development Corporation? You mean the Ministry of Tourism? No, that ain't the same thing, buddy. The Tourism Development Corporation helps to develop and grow Bahamian businesses in the tourism industry. You hear that what they say, buddy? Oh, yeah. Develop and grow. You don't know what all the things saying do? What does do? Check the website, boy.
Start your journey to ownership of our #1 industry today. Log on to tdcbahamas.com.
KFC Value Box for just $9.95. Crunch your KFC craving with a KFC Value Box for just $9.95. Get a piece of our golden fried chicken, crispy fries, cheesy mashed potatoes, 3 juicy all-white meat nuggets, a buttery biscuit, a sweet dessert biscuit, and a 16-ounce soda, all for just $9.95. Now that's a deal. Big flavor, bigger value, and always KFC. Finger licking good.
So, who's driving tonight then?
Who's the best driver?
Guess who's driving?
Guess who's driving?
What I don't need all that burn, that don't make a show. Yeah, I like the beach, but I don't go in water. Just grab me a collect, that's the bear of the Bahamas. I like to go down, oh yeah, oh yeah.
This segment of Eyewitness News is brought to you by EV Motors. Drive the future with brand new 2024 electric vehicles. EV Motors, powering your journey.
Welcome back. Here's a look at your Eyewitness News gas tracker. You're getting the cheapest tonight at Shell, $5.37. Esso, $5.38. Rubis coming in at $5.53. Gas prices pretty steady for the new year. Welcome back. Well, it might be a relief for some government officials, as they say there's no intent at this juncture to impose some stringent health protocols in the wake of a surge in viruses in China that is said to already be impacting the United States. That's according to the acting director of health, Dr. Philip Swan, who seemingly quashed fears about the return of protocols that residents dealt with during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 up to 2021, notwithstanding health officials grappling with a surge in the HMPV, a respiratory virus, along with a cluster of other viruses, including monkeypox. Swan asserts that government is not seeking to have a knee-jerk reaction, but says they're monitoring the situation.
We are not minded to go there again. I think that we've learned our lesson, and hopefully the population, I think we have a greater understanding and appreciation of the responsibility and responsiveness of our residents to, protect themselves and others. And I think we may be too far away from that in order to, get to that point where we're saying stay in your houses and stuff like that. But again, anything is when things happen, there are knee-jerk responses and then there are measured approaches, and we need to let us keep the door open to put whatever measures are in place to protect life and livelihood.
Well, the island of Exuma is said to be holding its own following the closure of the Sandals Resort and is expected to return to the island rebranded as the new beaches property. MP for the Exuma, Ragged Island and Keys Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper says that their vacation home rental properties have filled a void, and despite being heavily dependent on the Sandals brand for marketing, he says the island is still faring well and is expected to do so for the first quarter of this year.
Going well. We've had a remarkable December, on par or better than last year. 2023 was a record year. We've beaten the records of 2023 and 2024, and Exuma is holding its own. We are very happy that the Airbnb, VRBO, vacation rental market has really picked up the slack for room inventory. We discovered once Sandals left the market that in fact we have more than 2,700 rooms in Exuma. So Sandals had 250, but vacation rentals more than 2,750. Now we missed Sandals because Sandals really had a very strong marketing presence, and they supported the work that the Ministry of Tourism is doing. They were good for negotiations with Airlift, and we look forward to welcoming them back soon as beaches after spending $100 million. So we're very positive.
Well, the Department of Environmental Planning and Protection hoping that spot fines issued by environmental officers can ease the burden of the court system in country as various changes were made to the Environmental Planning and Protection Regulations 2024 Act. The director of DEPP, Dr. Rihanna Neely, at a press conference today, laid out some of the amendments to the act, explaining that those found on the wrong side of environmental laws will no longer stand before a courtroom once the fines are paid in the new allocated timeframe.
We would be able to issue a spot fine from $1,000 to $20,000, as I said, on the spot for various environmental infractions. The way it was before the amendments was really adding to a lot of frustration between us, adding to the court load of the court system, because now all of these matters became court matters. And so now if you pay the fine within 14 days, you won't have a record and you won't have to go to court. So I would like to encourage the general public. We're going to show the schedule of fines. And like I said, the fines range from $1,000 to $20,000. If you're found with a banned item, for example, the plastic ban was marked 5 years on January 1st. And we're seeing a lot of businesses beginning now to carry the plastic bags again. The fine for having these in your store, in your possession, is $1,000, and that is $1,000 per. Okay, so we encourage you to clean up your shops, clean up your places.
Well, Neely revealed what led environmental officials to make the necessary changes to the law, explaining that now officers are hoping to see justice carried out in the cases put forth by those environmental investigators.
The amendments were conducted in consultation prior. It was, like I said, when we enacted the legislation in 2019, this came up as an issue. Swift justice essentially was denied for a lot of people, and a lot of times people don't show up to court, and so no justice was had in many of these cases because the cases never got through to the end. And so with the implementation of these spot fines, we're able to address the situation immediately, essentially within 14 days. If you're working without a certificate of environmental clearance, if you're starting work without a CEC and a CEC is required, the fine for that is $10,000. Destruction of the environment or destruction to the environment, if you can start work and there is destruction to the wetlands or to the mangroves, the fine for that is $20,000. So we encourage heavy equipment operators as well, do not commence work on any project unless the project owner, the project proponent, has a certificate of environmental clearance.
Meantime, Bahamas Chamber of Commerce CEO Dr. Leo Roll says he's optimistic about government's energy reform plan. In late summer 2024, the chamber raised some serious concern over energy stability and soaring power costs, which were reportedly hurting businesses. However, Roll notes that since the introduction of the reform, some businesses are already seeing the benefits with lower electricity bills.
Concerns with that is the energy audits. We note that a part of those reforms speak to energy audits and wondering when those will begin and how Bahamian businesses, we have certified energy auditors here in country, and the thought process is, will those persons be enlisted to help with the energy audits? But we from a chamber standpoint are taking it a step further, so we have begun reaching out to some of those energy auditors because some of them are chamber members and hoping that they can provide a measure of discounted energy audits for our members ahead of the government, because we know that they're starting in the family islands. I think Abaco is the first island. And so if we can help them by starting in New Providence, then we can bridge the gap together. The chamber is also working with USAID on three major areas: the ease and cost of doing business, renewable energy, and of course tax reform. And so one of those aspects of study will be renewable energy, and what are those areas that we can help to make sure that the business community, but also the general public, are ready for those changes as they come.
With crime being an ongoing issue plaguing the nation and the Royal Bahamas Police Force taking on the fight daily, many are contributing to the effort by creating programs aimed at reducing crime and building a better future for the Bahamas. Our Delana Roker has the details tonight.
The Ministry of Education, in partnership with the Bahamas Teachers Union, hosted a seminar titled Reaching the Streets at the Bahamas Faith Ministry's Diplomat Center. The event is designed to address crime early on by educating educators on patterns that emerge in at-risk groups. Teen Challenge Bahamas Executive Director Eric Fox JP shares that the seminar aims to equip teachers with the tools to identify and intervene effectively, with Bahamas Union of Teachers President Belinda Wilson sharing the seminar has been a success.
We came together in collaboration based on all our different experience on the streets and working with these persons who are involved in certain infractions in the Bahamas. So we just pooled some of our information together, and today we decided to do some training for the teachers, just to give them some highlights on what to look for, how to detect these young men who might be more prone to moving into these, getting themselves involved in these fractions, in these other antisocial behaviors.
We have over 100 of our guidance counselors, our shop stewards, our district stewards, and teachers who deal with at-risk students who are attending this training today. And they said so far it's been excellent, and I look forward to the remainder of the session.
Pastor, anti-crime activist, and consultant in the Ministry of National Security, Carlos Reed, believes this initiative is a step in the right direction. He argues that rehabilitating individuals during confinement will better prepare them to transition out of a life of crime.
And I believe this is a start in the right direction, that we bring persons that have the most quality time with our young people together and be able to equip them on how to deal with this 21st century young people. Anybody that deal with youth today know that this is a different breed of young people that we're dealing with, which why we are seeing the level of crime and lawlessness that we're seeing on our streets. Have a situation in our country where everybody feels that what they feel is what really value. So I don't care when I get you. The fact is, whenever I get you, whether it's the beginning of the year or the end of the year, whenever I get you, I can get you. So until we deal with the source of the problem and stop putting band-aids on the little cuts, then we won't get nowhere. So the real core is, how do we impact these persons that are in custody, these persons that have been sentenced, so when they come back into society, they could be able to have a good opportunity to live a productive, successful life.
Fox further asserts that criminal behavior is often influenced by outside forces, highlighting the need to address the systemic issues driving this epidemic in our country.
People are really out of touch, and a lot of them out of touch because they won't be out of touch. A lot of the leaders are out of touch because they separate themselves from these people who they think involved in these stuff. But they need to understand, these young men in particular, they just like us. They human beings. They have the same aspirations, the same desires. They have families. They have kids. They want the best for their kids. They love their mother. They love the community. They just happen to get themselves caught up in some stuff.
Delano Roker, Eyewitness News.
In Eyewitness News tonight, it's a boost for agriculture. You've got the details on that, but first, here's a check on tonight's weather forecast.
Bahamas. We understand your business needs. We remain dedicated to giving you the best experiences for your business's growth and development. Reliable internet speeds for your customers' stress-free online shopping experience. Secure landline connections so your customers and team can always reach you. Exclusive add-ons like website and online store to put your brand on the map as the best. Find more at business.btcbahamas.com.
Everyone hates a dead car battery. Why not get a battery that lasts and has a 12-month warranty and is only $64.50? Intercontinental batteries are made with German technology, compatible with Japanese, US, and European vehicles, and adapts to warm climates.
All right, good to go.
These batteries are high quality, affordable, innovative, and only available at AID. Visit us online or WhatsApp us at 427-0026. AID, all you really need and more.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
At the Water and Sewage Corporation, safety and convenience are our top priorities. However, our meter readers face challenges that can make their job difficult. Locked gates to guard dogs sometimes leads to missed readings and estimated bills, which can be frustrating for you and us. That's why we're upgrading to digital meters. They bring safety, accuracy, and convenience to homes across the Bahamas. We can streamline data collection, reduce on-site visits, and provide more accurate bills with no more estimates. Digital meters also help detect leaks early, saving you from costly bills and reducing water waste. Soon, a user-friendly app will let you track your water usage, manage bills, and stay informed, all at your fingertips. Over the next year, we're rolling out digital meters nationwide, transforming how we serve you with a safer and cost-efficient water supply. To learn about our digital meters, visit our website or call us today. And don't forget to update your information at any of our locations.
You're watching Eyewitness News.
Welcome back. Well, the Chinese Embassy in the Bahamas hosting the Hunan Bahamas Agricultural Cooperation Project exhibition and watermelon tasting featuring fruits and vegetables grown at the Hunan Bahamas Agricultural Demonstration Farm. The event highlighted the partnership between the two countries in support of food security in the Bahamas. The Chinese ambassador expressing hope that the partnership will expand with more farms being established in the capital and also in the Family Islands.
Strongly the potential between China and Bahamas to develop cooperation in agriculture. So the farm today, the demonstration farm we talk about today, and the food we tasted, they all come from this farm. Watermelon, cauliflower, pepper, tomato, and cucumber. They all come from this farm. It's a joint venture. It's a joint effort of two Hunan agriculture experts as well as the Ministry of Agriculture of Bahamas. So this farm, it has been here for 2 years. Hunan province has invested nearly $1 million into this project, and I'm so glad to see that delicious fruit of this project has come to realize, and this farm is it's a symbol of friendship between China and Bahamas, and it's also a symbol of great cooperation in agriculture between China and Bahamas.
Well, the Davis administration's blueprint for change includes a goal to reduce food imports by this year. The parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Jamal Strawn, says this international agricultural collaboration is helping to achieve that goal.
These types of cooperation enhance both our domestic agricultural sector and the People's Republic of China's agricultural sector. They bring in expertise so that we can ensure that we achieve our goal of food security. It's essential to understand that the reason we conduct these transfer of information and of expertise is to help in our national development. In this particular initiative, we see the transfer of not only technology, but we see the transfer of equipment like tractors, greenhouses, seeds, so that the Bahamas can achieve the goal of reducing its food imports by 25%. And that is what we want, and that is what we aspire to as we achieve our own food security.
Well, still to come in Eyewitness News tonight, our Laurencia Smith has your latest check on sports. Good evening, Laurencia.
Good evening, Janae. I have the highlights from a recent regatta held over on the weekend. I'll tell you more about it straight ahead in sports.
3
That's how many days you can save this year at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Chef Boyardee spaghetti and meatballs, 15 ounces, $1.79. Cardinal evaporated milk, 14 ounces, $1.19. Ginger Evans flour, 5 pounds, $3.69. Kellogg's giant size cereals, assorted 23 to 28 ounces, $6.39. Green peppers, $1.99 per pound. Whole chicken wings, $1.79 per pound. Specials every day at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Doctors Hospital is reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. Your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new, modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnosis and true personalized treatment begin. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshos.com.
It's a different kind of Christmas, but everything is here to bring a smile upon your face. That's what the season brings. Yeah. See, Christmas time is the time for your family and friends. Come and shop with us and find everything that you need. Deck out your homes with all we have in store, bringing joy and so much more. At Shop Smarty, at Shop Smart. Shop Smart, oh, everything is here at Shop Smart. At Shop Smart, at Shop Smart, oh, everything is here.
Eyewitness Sports is brought to you by 103.5 The Beat.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Eyewitness Sports. I'm Laurencia Smith. Thanks for joining us. Topping sports tonight, we're on the high seas. The KPMG Bahamas Youth Regatta was held over on Montague Beach over the weekend. Norman Cartwright and Derek Knowles dominated their respective divisions, sailing to victory with the first place finish in every race of the ILC A6 and Optimus Championship. In the Sunfish class, Kai Harvey sailed to the top spot, while Nash Cartwright took the win in the ILC A4 division. The Optimus Green Fleet, four sailors still honing their racing skills, saw James Hutcut claiming the championship title. Congratulations to the young skippers from all of us here at Eyewitness Sports. Meantime, let's head on over to the Bahamas Aquatic Federation. Algernon Cargill was re-elected as president unopposed of the Federation during their general meeting and elections on Saturday, January 11th. Cargill's leadership team includes First Vice President Lynn Ferrano II, Vice President Christina Wallace Whitfield, overseeing public relations, and Third Vice President Gina Culmer. Georgette Albury returns as secretary, with Andrea Longley as assistant secretary. Errol Thompson serves as treasurer, supported by assistant treasurer Kirkland Albury. Now, our sports desk spoke with the chief about what he's looking to achieve in this new term.
We're happy that we have a foundation that the new team that will take over at the end of my final term, that they'll be able to build on the successes we've had and hopefully extend our linkages in corporate Bahamas. One of the things we definitely want to change, Lawrence, here, is the fact that swimming is perceived to be an elite sport. And that is so far from what we are, particularly because we feel that every Bahamian should have the ability to learn to swim, or the opportunity to learn to swim. And nonetheless, we find that less than 10% of the entire population can swim 25 meters in the pool.
Congratulations to Mr. Cargill and his team. Well, that's what's making sports at this hour. I'm Laurencia Smith. Stay tuned for more news on the other side of the break.
On the river of life, where the open waters meet, we are all free to seek our own path. For some, it is a journey to the edge. For others, It's a pursuit of a mind at peace, distilling precious memories as we float where the tide takes us. It can be expeditions of one or relentless pursuits of what eludes us. It matters not. If you hunt, if you gather, there is a personal journey to find where you need to go, to outrun any ticking clock. Through decades, wave after wave of passing time, Sea-Doo has remained here, making each ride a story. Because life is unscripted, it's as open as the water. You can decide on the ride of your life.
The Whopper with cheese never tasted so good. 100% flame grilled beef, now juicier. With fresh ingredients as usual. And even fluffier buns. The Whopper with cheese. Bigger, better, tastier. Get a regular combo for only $9. Only at Burger King Nassau.
For every shape-up, after-school activity, unplanned home repair, and other day-to-day spending, there's SandDollar. SandDollar is a convenient way to send and receive money instantly. SandDollar is easy to use. It's safe and secure. Just like physical cash, SandDollar is issued by the Central Bank of the Bahamas. And best of all, there are no fees for individuals to send or receive funds. Download a SandDollar-enabled digital wallet and enjoy the benefits of the digital Bahamian dollar. Spend it locally. Transfer it to and from a local bank account or convert it to and from physical cash. Learn more at www.sanddollar.bs.
You're watching Eyewitness News.
Well, that wraps up news at this hour. I want to send a very special happy Founders Day to all of the ladies of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Coming up and beyond the headlines with Shanique Miller, the labor minister, is here breaking down all of those union issues that led to a partial strike today. We've got the details on that, but that does it for us here at Eyewitness News. It's certainly been a pleasure having you in our company tonight. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Janae Nawal saying good night and be safe, everyone.
We're learning, even playing, we're having lots of fun. We're working with each other until the day is done.
24 additional senior teachers are now a part of the public school system. Education Minister Glenys Hannah Martin and other education officials recently met with the newly promoted senior teachers during a courtesy call.
And so for educators to be able to move up, but still keep their feet on the ground, their hand in the till of nurturing young people, and also inspiring teachers, other teachers, mentoring other teachers, and also taking it to the next level. This, what we're talking about right here, right now, is about taking it to the next level. You right here in this room, you are going to help light a flame in this profession and for shifting the paradigm in education.
Director Dominique McCartney-Russell congratulated the senior teachers and highlighted their importance within the public school system.
We are putting you as creme de la creme. You're going to be at the pedestal in the Ministry of Education because we want to say to our colleagues, these are our senior teachers, these are our role models, and these are our pedagogues, the pedagogues.
Senior teacher Ebony Johnson is looking forward to mentoring other educators.
Now I can go to other schools and possibly mentor other persons in different capacities in education as well. I love the opportunity to do just that, and it's truly an honor to have been selected and recognized for the work that I've done.
Jonalee McIntosh for Ed Talk.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
It's the most luckiest time of the year. There'll be things that are spinning and cash prizes winning. Just Big Bang is here. It's the most luckiest time. Yes, the most luckiest time. Oh, the most luckiest time of the year.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Island Luck.
Time of the year.
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, what was meant to be union action that would bring the Bahamas to its knees did a little more than create a ripple in a pond today, as unions that fall under the TUC umbrella seemingly backed out at the last minute. So what happened? Also, where do those union agreements stand? Agreements that many say have been agreed to with the many meetings that took place, but are just hanging in the balance. Also, the MOU, much talked about since 2021, where does that stand tonight? And has the government lived up to the agreements made and signed off on the MOU? It's all coming up straight ahead for you this evening. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, today, of course, if you paid attention to social media yesterday, you would have seen and heard that this today would have been a day where the Bahamas came to its knees and business came to a standstill, whether it's travel, tourism, many industries. The school and education really would have been crippled today because of industrial action ordered by Obie Ferguson and the TUC. But anything but that happened. In fact, many union leaders came out and volunteered information that they would not be participating in the industrial action. We will hear from the president of the Bahamas Union of Teachers in just a moment. But this evening, we're going to get to the bottom of what brought union relations to this point, when seemingly unions were having a wonderful relationship with the government, getting a number of things addressed, and also getting those outstanding issues from years ago also brought to the table, brought to right now, and also agreed to and addressed. Well, we're going to put those questions to the Minister of Labour, who joins me this evening. I am happy to have you here. I know you've had a long and full day. Good evening to you. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Minister Pia Glover-Roll.
Good evening, Shanique. It's a pleasure to be here after a long and full day.
A long and full day is correct. Well, I know that you're smiling, one, because really the threat that went out yesterday was nothing to laugh at. In fact, it really appeared as though schools would come to a standstill. The healthcare center, healthcare rather, public health in the nation, and so many other things, travel, as immigration and customs as well, fall under the TUC. Just so much was at risk, but really none of it happened. What are you hearing that caused unions to say, wait, let's put the brakes on?
Shanique, I'm a woman of the word. Proverbs speaks about committing your work unto the Lord. And we have worked. This government, this administration has committed to addressing labor concerns through constructive dialogue, through maturity, and ensuring that we are in the meantime safeguarding the interests of Bahamians. I think the unions, the majority of them, have recognized that. One way in which they've recognized it is legacy issues, thousands of legacy issues that we met in office.
Literally thousands?
Thousands, and thousands across our labor front, and that's public and private, are being addressed and resolved. Yes, some are taking a little longer than others. These are legacy issues. Some were addressed immediately. Some are being addressed in the medium term, and some will take the long term. But to say that nothing is happening, nothing is being addressed, that's false. And the proof is in the pudding. Because the good thing about having meetings is they're minuted. You can go back and you can refer to your notes. The good thing about the labor front is it's documented by data. So we can go back and I love being able to check off, qualify what has been done. When we look at the millions of dollars paid out in increments, back pay, promotions. Industrial agreements to the Bahamian citizens, they see it in their bank accounts. So how can it not have happened if it actually did?
Well, the thing is, though, and what's funny, and everybody sort of scratched their head today, those of us on the outside looking in and say, well, what is this major unrest about? What is this call to action about to basically, again, bring the country to its knees and bring business to a standstill when everyone, including the government, yourself, and the Prime Minister, and the various union leaders are saying, listen, no, this administration has had an open door and continues to have an open door policy. Things are being discussed. Some things have been done. Many are still outstanding. Many appear to be stalled. So persons were like, and I'm talking varying ages, varying sectors. We're saying, okay, then we'll keep it going.
We got to this place of 53 overall industrial agreements signed and one on the way this week to 54, but 30 industrial agreements that affect the government sector signed through social dialogue. And see, Shanique, I'm a well-traveled woman. I believe in benchmarking. The Bahamas has a level of tripartism and social dialogue that other countries envy. Not because I'm thinking they envy. They tell us. They are envious of the fact, how do you have quarterly meetings? I was asked by an African nation, a big African nation, how do you get the unions to meet with you quarterly? We invite them. What do you discuss?
So they ask you this because their relationship is hostile with their unions.
There are nations around the world who cannot sit government, employer, confederations, and trade unions to a table. We do it quarterly. We do it daily and weekly. From the level of Department of Labor, our director, our labor consultant, the Minister of Labor, the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, and other ministers. This that we are taking for granted, Shanique, this social dialogue that was a whole topic at an international labor conference a few months ago. Social dialogue was the theme. That we are, as Bahamians, are seemingly taking for granted should not be. The fact that we have open lines of communication, I see, you see a little feedback here and there, or talk, all they want to do is talk. But talking, social dialogue is how we got to industrial agreements signed and honored. Let's talk about that. I keep
Well,
hearing...
I want to hear you talk about honored because,
They're not honored.
because the criticism today is, and of course yesterday in the viral notes and forwards, it's like, listen, all this administration doing is talking. Yeah, we talk, we do meet and talk, but now start sort of fleshing out and putting meat on some of the things we talk about and the agreements made.
Let's talk about that, because that is another reason why I'm aware that a number of members of unions did not participate today, because the proof is in the pudding. Industrial agreements signed and honored, which means the benefits of those agreements is realized by the members, not the government, the members. When you talk about 7 increments over a 3-year period, and July 2025 brings us to the end of that 3-year period, the benefits have been honored over the course of those 3 years. When you talk about increments, increases, back pay, these things, these benefits, insurance comes through the industrial agreements. There are, I think, matters of allowances that are in question for 1 or 2 unions, because it's a fiscal anomaly that's being worked out. But when I see the commentary that the agreements aren't being honored, I don't understand, because the agreements are being honored because we're almost at the end of the agreements now and about to sign new ones.
Oh, really?
So that is absolutely erroneous.
Now, you know, we saw, for example, the air traffic controllers, teachers, nurses, doctors, the other unions escape me at the moment, but several really were supposed to participate today. And I understand maybe a trickling of the doctors and nurses unions participated in the sick out. The others basically said, nope, we like how it's going, but government, listen, step up on it, but it's good. We can give you the benefit of the doubt, keep this moving in the right direction.
And I agree with them. I came out of the private sector. Things do happen a little too slowly sometimes in government. But that's why I've been aggressive. That's why the government has been aggressive in ensuring that we are delivering on the promise, and where we can, we are consistently communicating, and timelines are being put in place. I had my final 2024 quarterly meetings with the unions, all of them, the week of December 16th. And matters that weren't addressed in the meeting or subsequent to the meeting, we gave timelines on, and we agreed to come back to revisit any outstanding matters in our quarterly meeting in March. We agreed to all. On leaving the meetings, you know, people say, oh, why y'all say y'all surprised? Because when we leave the meeting and the meeting closes with the union presidents saying how happy they are, when they're saying how they are so grateful for the resolve and they're so grateful for the open door policy, and yes, we have more work to do. And let me assure the Bahamian public, I want a job. So I want the unions to continue to have issues to resolve. And as a government, as a country, we'll have issues to resolve, because if we don't have issues to resolve, there will be no need for us to be here. So there will always be issues. But when we deal with the big issues and we're left with the small issues, we're in a good place.
So the government didn't trick, because I'll tell you, the first thing that almost came to mind is like, y'all got sucker punched with that MOU, because look at y'all now. We'll get to that in a moment about that MOU, but much talked about and hyped for a number of years now, and continues to sort of come up every minute that there's a union issue. But let's just talk about maybe some areas where there are issues outstanding for certain unions that are on the table and being discussed and addressed now.
Absolutely. One that is very pertinent, and you will see today that the doctors participated, a small number of the nurses participated. The doctors do have an agreement that is waiting to be signed and being negotiated. There were 4 outstanding matters that were at a stalemate. The Prime Minister agreed to 3 of those matters, and 1 is in financial review. That's the facts. That's the facts. We have our Customs, Immigration, and Allied Workers Union, who did not participate today.
The Customs Union,
Customs and Immigration,
Customs and Immigration,
based on our reports, did not participate today. However, They have issues. I mean,
all
unions have issues.
All issues. Unions have issues.
Let me qualify that. All unions have issues.
So you shocked me just now because they have been vocal. I'm sure you've seen them on this show a few times. They have been vocal because they want some issues addressed. But you mean today, when all was to come together and make this major statement, they pulled back?
Well, they didn't participate, and I'm grateful to them. Which speaks to some level of integrity because President Brooks, we communicate. I know the issues. I remember he had some issues with accommodations of officers in office spaces in Bimini in particular. And I saw the photos, and I'm the Minister of Labor, and we're promoting decent working conditions. And I partnered with my Minister of Immigration and the Minister of Works, and we moved. It didn't happen overnight, but we moved into new facilities in Bimini. I know there's matters of allowances and overtime for customs that in the last meeting in December when they brought it to me, my next place of visit was finance. The comptroller is now doing the paperwork and processing these overtime to be paid for So
what was today about?
Stuff is happening.
Wait now, see, but you have us confused. Hey, how y'all feel out there? How y'all feel? Because again, what was this attempt about today? Was Obi Ferguson flexing muscles he doesn't have?
Let me finish, Shanae.
Go ahead.
Because I want to lay it out and I want to be transparent.
Yes.
As a Minister of Labor, I believe that there's transparency. I'm never going to sit and say there are not issues because I see the commentary, they say it good. Things are much better than they've ever been. But is it perfect? No. There are issues and we continue to resolve and work through the issues. The Immigration Department also spoke about succession planning, HR issues, promotions. The Minister of Immigration committed about 9 months ago to sit and strategically work with the directors on a succession plan. It doesn't happen overnight. We're building an organization. That proposal is complete. The Immigration Department, that comes in tandem with a promotion package because if we're saying we're going to facilitate this succession plan at the top level, we need to know who's going to fill those posts. And we had have an interim director of labor, director of immigration who filled the post before, was brought back to fill the void temporarily, and that has been communicated while we work out this plan for future. The Department of Immigration submitted this promotions package to the Ministry of Public Service on the 23rd of December, 2024, a few weeks ago, and we are working on it. Things are being worked on, Shanique. Let me say it in Bahamian vernacular.
Go on.
We ain't slunking on nothing. Certain things take more time than others. That's the reality.
But it seems as though you are really making a very genuine attempt to address even issues that precede you, issues that went back like years ago, because I've interviewed several presidents, union presidents, over the course of even last year, for example, and they talked about issues that have been long-standing, that issues that you met in office when you came. But the point is, it seems as though you're trying to chip away at each one and ensure that they are being addressed in maybe not as timely as everybody would want, but as thoroughly and as beneficial to everybody involved as possible.
Shanique, I, as the Minister of Labor, have committed, and our government has committed to respect the rights of our workers and unions. You know, people say, they're striking. They have a right, if it's legal, if it's done in a legal way. But we insist that disputes are addressed through good faith negotiations, not through public disruptions. We're mature, we're professional. Let's model the behavior that we want to show the young people when it comes to conflict resolution, when it comes to mediation and negotiations. So, Shanique, yes, there are legacy matters. But another thing that people don't take into consideration is we operate based on policy. So while I would like to, in my private sector HR mentality, just sign off and make it happen, it doesn't work that way in the public service. There is process. However, because some of the process may not make too much sense or may be antiquated and may not be serving the purpose where at this stage of a digitized world, we don't need a 12-step process. We maybe can engage a 4-step process. What do? In July of 2024, we conducted the first historic labor legislative symposium where I invited all of the tripartite, the government agencies, the employer confederations, the trade unions, to come and sit at the table. I didn't even sit with them. I opened and I closed. I let them sit and hash out, what about these employment laws? What about these industrial relation laws? What about general orders? What about the Public Service Act? Should we change? Should we improve? Should we amend? Should we bring forward to the 21st century? That is what it's about. It's about, yes, there's the issues and we're working on them, but what do we do to ensure that we don't get to this place again? We're doing the work. I sit here confidently and say,
so you're really,
we're doing the work.
Working to bring about industrial harmony, of course, knowing that unions will always agitate more and further for more benefits for their workers, particularly as we deal with things like inflation and cost of living and all the rest of it. So that will be ongoing. Yes. But the things that have been there packed away and shoved in a corner, and even those newer things that have emerged, you've been working on them. Yes, well, before we talk about the MOU, let's listen to one of the presidents who stood up over the weekend. In fact, overnight, she did this and very vocal. People were quite surprised to hear her stand up and say, listen, we don't support this. Whatever this is, being on that run, we are going to kind of honor the process. Here is BUT President Belinda Wilson.
We are not NOT participating in any form of industrial action tomorrow, Monday, January the 13th, 2025. So, Mr. Prime Minister, you can breathe easy tonight. However, I want to place you, Mr. Prime Minister Philip Davis, the Minister of Education, Glenys Hanna-Martin, and the Minister of Labour and the Public Service, Pierre Glover Roll, on notice that the patience of the affiliates of the Bahamas National Alliance Trade Union Congress is running out. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
I almost thought Belinda was talking about TikTok, but listen, again, though, she made clear, Minister Glover Roll, that her union, the BUT and the umbrella union in which she heads, is not behind today's supposed strike that did not happen, national strike and shutdown of the country in essence. But she's saying, address some issues outstanding. What are some of those issues that she wants addressed?
All of the teachers' issues are human resource related issues that were by the thousands, well over 1,000 when I came in office. I know President Wilson has stated that she has about 400 and some outstanding. We're getting there. We're doing the work. It's a very tedious and frustrating process, but we're not letting up. We have dedicated teams that President Wilson is familiar with in our Ministry of Public Service, who is doing the work diligently, and I boast of the public service staff everywhere I go, and the Public Service Commission. They are working 7 days a week, because realistically, the issues and our legacy issues that are so large in number that it requires around the clock work. But we are making a dent. Everybody wants their issues to be handled first. We get it. Everybody wants to be priority. We get it. And I think the teams led by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Public Service are doing a yeoman's job in getting putting as much attention on every ministry and every department in our country. Every ministry and department in our country can say they've seen some progress on their legacy issues. So I hear the President. She knows I commit to continue to work with her along with our team. She knows there are some policy matters that we've been working directly on. She knows that I consult, we ask, how do you think we should do this? And she's given her advice. We're working together, and that's what it is. But Of course, union presidents have a right to agitate and advocate for their members. She must continue doing what she does, but as the minister and our team at the Ministry of Labor and Public Service, we're going to continue doing what we do, which is the work for the people.
Did the PLP, when trying to garner support in 2021, this MOU that is more popular, just as popular perhaps as your MOU, PLP, PLP, MOU, where does that stand? Was it a good idea? And if it was, is it actually doing what it was proposed to do?
I am glad you asked about the infamous MOU.
Listen.
The MOU that is 96% complete in terms of delivery on items.
You're kidding. You mean the
yes,
list you all made on the MOU that everybody signed off on? This ain't it, by the way. This is just me for emphasis. That every union member who attended and participated and agreed signed off on. You are saying you're 96% have checked off those things?
Most of the matters are what we have built our labor plan on in terms of the Progressive Liberal Party. Industrial agreements have been signed. Retention bonuses have been received. Improved benefits for workers. There's some other stuff in there too. But let me continue. Union executives being given justice of the peace positions. Union executives being placed on boards.
Hold on, you mean this was part of the demands of the MOU?
So,
Minister
96%.
Minister Pia Glover Roll, you ain't gonna say that and get out of here. You trying to say, instead of these union leaders, presidents, which fine, they're agitating, they're advocating for their membership, and that they have done in this MOU. But are you saying a little clause in the MOU say, and we gonna need, Mr. Prime Minister, what else we gonna need if you win, what else, and you did, so we gonna need that little thing, we gonna need board appointments, we gonna need vehicles, we gonna need, what, this was a part of this was a part of the negotiation and agreement of the MOU?
Shanique, 96% of the MOU has been delivered.
But what is it?
There are a few outstanding items. Let me tell you
I
about.
hope you're listening.
Let me tell you about some of the outstanding items that are still being worked on our work in progress. And the Prime Minister has spoken to Mr. Ferguson in particular about these matters.
What Robbie Ferguson got?
I think you should bring him on the show. But anyway,
I've tried.
Shanique, let me say this with the Memorandum of Understanding. It's what has guided. So everything that you see we're achieving with labor, we go by the MOU. It's in our blueprint, in fact. But I will say that there are some outstanding items. Let's talk about two that I can think of off the top of my head. The renovation of the House of Labor. That's been discussed with the Prime Minister. The government cannot provide 100% funding to renovate the House of Labor. We need the TUC to meet us.
But isn't the House of Labor
put some skin in the game?
Independently owned?
We're talking about the MOU. So the MOU
okay, that's what you all agree to. So I blame
also
you. Okay, go ahead.
Speaks to
because how many Bahamian people benefit from a newly renovated, multi-state-of-the-art House of Labor?
Well, we also have
you all play this
outstanding.
MOU. You know what? Bring the MOU to the show. Let's look and see what else is being demanded. Go ahead, Minister.
We also have outstanding where the unions are looking for land. The Prime Minister is doing doing an audit of Crown land that is available.
So I understand they want that for their headquarters.
The unions want parcels of land. That's a part of the MOU. So Shanique, but my point is this. I as a Minister of Labor, and I try to purport and give accountability and integrity in my role. When we talk about a MOU where, in one instance, the same president of the union says, we signed the MOU, how come everybody benefiting from it? And we say, we signed the MOU
to benefit
the entire all unions.
So I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Wait, Mr. Minister, don't run ahead. See, I know what she meant. She meant there's a big deal that was made. When they met with this MOU, there were some union presidents who decided they want nothing to do with it, they're not going to sign it. So the MOU was agreed and signed. The PLP won is now the government. And so what those people who are around the table and are asking, well, how come so-and-so them who didn't support it, wasn't there, didn't sign, didn't agree, how are they benefiting as well?
So they asked the question.
This little trifling stuff happening.
everyone benefiting when we say we're the government for everyone, and if all unions will benefit from the Memorandum of Understanding for trade unions. But you said that you're saying that the memorandum isn't being fulfilled, but you're complaining that the benefits are also being enjoyed by other unions. So which one is it? Shanique, the message for me today is, what is it? What is it? You can't say one thing in a meeting, in a closed room, and say something else in the media, or pretend as if what is happening is not happening. Again, I go back as the Minister of Labor. Everything we do is able to be checked off and qualified. So I will not allow, and it's not about me, Shanique. The Minister of Labor doesn't do the work, but the public servants who do the work in the Ministry of Labor and Public Service, their work will not be discredited and swept as if they are doing nothing. They are working hard, 7 days a week. Our labor relations consultants signed 53 agreements with one more on the way this week, and I will not allow anyone to discount the work that the people who work in the Ministry of Labor and Public Service do by thinking they're taking political jobs, because the minister isn't the technical person that's doing the work. The people are doing the work, and they get upset when they hear, we ain't delivering, we ain't doing nothing, and they working so hard.
Are there personal agendas at play here?
I guess, Shanique, I can't say. All I know is we are working on behalf of the Bahamian workers, and I take it personally. When I take on a role, I take it seriously. The team has bought into the vision, and we are doing the best we can to ensure that we deliver on the promise as laid out in our blueprint for labor. Tell them, check the blueprint. See what we have accomplished. See what's left to be done. I can assure you that our list is virtually complete.
Moving forward, this year, let's just even deal with 2025. What's your hope for labor relations and getting issues that are, just about signed off, just about agreed to, all these things that apparently appears to sort of be like right here, ready for, according to what you've said, and even what many of the unions are saying. What's the plan moving forward in the immediate future to get those things squared away, tucked away, and presented and agreed?
I am very excited, Shanique, about our labor legislation reform, another initiative that is getting international attention. I've been invited, the end of this month to Saudi Arabia. They want to hear. I'm the featured speaker. They want to hear.
You're kidding. Well, I know
about what we're doing.
At a number of labor organizations and conferences and meetings, not knowing that they are asking you how you are able to create such harmony and get things done and moving forward.
Yes, they are. And it is important for us to ensure that we continue the social dialogue. It's important for us to ensure that our labor legislation reform makes it to Parliament and gets passed, because it's not the government's work. It's the tripartite's work. It's the trade unions, it's the employer confederations, and the government seeking to see how we could improve the labor legislation, the framework that will ultimately seal everything else we've done. So we're doing the work, but we have to make sure that the foundation is solid, and that's the legislation. And that helps us now to move matters forward even more swiftly. My goal is to continue the social dialogue, to continue to work, and to get the matters resolved for the people.
Minister Pia Glover-Roll, thank you for spending considerable time here with us this evening on Beyond the Headlines and really addressing what's a very important issue as it relates to labor relations, labor harmony. After all, these are industries that are the engine and the wheels of the nation. And so everyone was up in arms about what to expect today. Gladly, it did not happen as was projected. However, though, we also wanted an update on what's really happening in labor, which you provided quite nicely here this evening. It appears as though you're really doing a great deal, backed up and supported by so many union presidents. And even the fact that many of them refused not to participate today also says a lot. I thank you for stopping by this evening.
It's a pleasure.
And looking forward to sitting down with you further on perhaps when many of these other outstanding matters are cleared away, and come back and talk about those as well. Thank you once again.
You're welcome. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. My pleasure. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, the Hot Topics panel is here. We're going to talk about that, what was supposed to happen today, what didn't, fortunately, and also a lot of what the minister had to say, and a lot more. This is Beyond the Headlines. We're back right after this.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
Work hard to provide for and protect the ones you love. However, life can present unexpected challenges. Who you call in times of need matters. Insurance Management is a Bahamian-owned company that has been serving our community for over 40 years, offering a wide range of coverage for all of your personal, professional, and commercial needs. When life happens, rest easy knowing that our skilled and experienced agents are there for you in your time of need, so that you can get back to what matters most. Insurance Management. Nobody does it better.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. You guys, your thoughts about that interview with Minister of Labor, Pia Gloverole. Certainly a lot that she had to say, and I tell you, many people are happy this evening that the national strike didn't happen, or sick out, over the next 2 days. That didn't really go as was being reported. We're going to get right into it this evening. I'll tell you, I spoke with a number of persons from in Grand Bahama, here, several people throughout the island here in New Providence, and really the same sentiments were expressed. We're going to hear from the Hot Topics panel, though. We're going to see exactly what they thought, what perhaps people were saying, where they were today. And so welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Leslie Miller and Michael Turnquest. Gentlemen, good evening to both of you.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas. A pleasure to be back.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, first of all, were you watching as this played out since yesterday, sort of later in the day yesterday, and then obviously the thoughts heading into today of what possibly could have happened?
You know, Shanique, I think everybody was expecting chaos today in terms of, a lot of the, members not showing up to their post and, just creating a lot of more backlog of what we've seen, in government agencies. But it leaves you to think, and I'm a person that come from the private sector in terms of, my background. And, I always ask myself in terms of union leaders, what it is, are they only looking for what benefit themselves? Because to me, it's very disingenuous to say one thing, and then you saw the minister come and say something totally different in terms of things being addressed. We know that things in the government sector takes a long time. I think the administration also needs to focus on trying to be more efficient in terms of how do we speed these things up, make it not as, cumbersome or tedious for persons who want, at the end of the day, we all know Bahamians are still hurting, electricity bills, things of that sort. People want their monies in their pockets, they want it like yesterday. They've done the work, they've done what's been, what they deserve. So I think that's where a lot of the,
Friction comes in.
A lot of the friction comes in because people at the end of the day, they can't pay their light bill. They're trying to afford, to put food on the table for the kids. So this is where, governments need to bring efficiency in terms of how do we take these agreements, whether it be, at the end of the day, a lot of the unions agreed to certain things before the actual government came to power. And it's sad to see that you want to have union leaders want to play politics with the people, with their members, because that's not in the interest. At the end of the day, if you're saying you're representing your union members, represent them. Because we've seen it over and over for some union leaders. They come out and they make all these noise, and all of a sudden they go into a room. Either they cut a deal, and next minute they go quiet. And then, but you still have your members still wondering, okay, what happened here? What came out of what you all actually discussed? So I always had questions in terms of, are leaders actually representing their members and representing them efficiently and ensuring that, they're actually working for them and not for themselves?
I found in my experience, especially with BEC, serving almost 10 years, executive chairman for 5, that most of the union leaders really looking out for themselves. In most instances, they have an agenda, all their own. And I have found, from my experience, that they don't represent the total views of the people that they represent. For example, they would go to the government and say, well, we represent this segment of society. These are our workers. They cannot tell those people who to vote for. No political party should fall into that trap that we need you to win a government. It doesn't work that way. And people would tell you, they do not tell me who to vote for. Now, if they want to go on strike and I can get a couple of dollars more, fine, I can get that. But I think today it all fell apart. It shows you that the bravado that was expressed yesterday, we're going to close the country down for 2 days and we're going to show them who's in charge. Well, the people, the ordinary person who goes to work every day with their kids, try to get their kids to school just opened last week. Why am I going on strike when the government is sitting with me? See, the one thing you got to give Mr. Davis credit for, he's an easy guy to get to and get along with. He listens to you and he tries to get it done. But to sit with him and you come to some arrangement that's not moving as fast as you would wish it to do, why would you want to go on strike and disrupt an economy that is already on the edges, that's just trying to come back from chaos?
Obviously the union...
it doesn't do anybody, it's not the interest of anyone.
It's foolish.
Obviously unions felt that way in general because, as you saw, this is exactly what several of them came out publicly and said, no, they're not supporting it. The negotiations are going well. They're negotiating in good faith, trusting the process. Now government, though, get it up, speed it up.
But in addition to that, you have many of the former union leaders are now consultants to the government of the Bahamas, are paid consultants. In other words, the Bahamian people is paying them to work for on our behalf as well as the union's behalf to have harmony. So you would think that with that sort of a complexity that the government has put into place, we want to avoid strikes if we can. Therefore, you have men and women who are learned in this area. They know how to get along with each other. Why would one of them or two of them want to say, well, let's strike anyhow? To prove what? And then politics creep into it. Then you get an F&M PLP debate that has nothing to do with the subject matters that's on the table. Pay me my money. For example, the situation with customs. If those people work and you're with them for the last couple of years, pay the people the money. What's the problem?
And that's, at the end, and this is where it's such a vast difference between the private sector and the government sector. At the end of the day, that'll never fly in the private sector because at the end of the day, everybody will be involved. Because how can you have private members of whatever corporate entities not being paid what they deserve?
Exactly.
So I can't find it. Why is it that governments would find it, suitable to say,
it makes no sense.
It goes on 4 or 5 years that you have people that have worked hard for their money.
Okay. Longer than that, Michael.
Some
of these problems have been lingering, whether it's payment, whether it's promotions, whether it's evaluations, have been lingering for many years. It's taking people for granted.
Some of the people are in the Ministry of Works.
But Shanique, something, when you look at bonus systems and promotions and things of that sort, that a lot of the union agreements some of those I don't agree with, because at the end of the day, not because you've been at an organization for so long, you should be automatically put up for promotion. At the end of the day, you have to prove, you have to produce work. And this is the issue that we're having in a lot of government sectors, whereas though people go to work, sit on their hands, and then we as private citizens are trying to get, whether it be a business license, whatever it may be, or get certain things done. We get held together.
I agree. It should not be social promotion, social increments, none of it. You work for it. That is why the public service is the way it is.
7 out of 10 mothers and fathers, especially in the family islands of New Providence, want their child to work for government. Because they want that benefits at the end of the day, that I'm going to get my salary and I'm going to also get my pension. Now, you know, in our time, that was good. You have no pension, you know, and the pension is so minuscule to begin with. I mean, a teacher with a master's degree that taught for 40 years will not take home $2,000 a month. It's outrageous, but then
you look at how many government workers that are on contracts and have been on contracts for decades, 10 years, and I mean they basically have no benefits, nothing of the sort, but they just go from one contract to the next.
But in addition to that, when I was at BEC, we had 2 studies done, one by a German company, one by a Canadian company. What is the volume? What is the production level of our people that are making all these demands? In both cases, was less than 50%.
No, they don't.
Less than 50%.
But that is why we talk about the foreign
element.
element.
Bahamas is the lowest in this hemisphere.
Yes.
And this is why we have no efficiency. This is why productivity and efficiency. And you have people who even come to the table trying to say, hey, this is how we can be more efficient if we were to do X, Y, and Z.
But then you question also union representation, because and it's good. It's good to have union representation in a workplace. However, though,
it can be good and bad.
No, I'm getting to that. For the business owner, including the public service, it is sometimes a disservice to have union representation, because why? Jack come to work and he's sitting on because he eating breakfast, and then right after breakfast, instead of getting to work, he's planning what's for lunch. Then maybe he will do a little bit of work in the little hour in between there, and then after that he's waiting for lunch to come.
I believe the greatest insult is when you look at the disparity of pay between the government, regular workers in the different ministries, and say a company like Batelco and BEC and water and sewage, their salary is about 40% above the other government workers who work hard or harder than them.
But what you have seen, and what you've seen over the years, and when you see, I mean, for example, I mean, now BDC, which is now Liberty Latin America, a lot of private entities are coming in and putting in standards and requirements, whereas though the way it used to be back 20, 30 years ago is not the way it is today. I can tell you that in BTC, you have requirements that have to be met at the end of the year. They do end of year reviews, and this is why you're seeing certain places becoming more efficient. They're not where they need to be.
And most of them are on
but at the end of the day, we still have union agreements that are in place that still are protecting a lot of unproductive employees that are just,
and the Bahamas, the workforce in the Bahamas is largely an unproductive one, an underskilled one, an
under 50%,
underskilled one,
and we see it every day.
Yes, unions must pay attention to that.
People want to show off the work beyond WhatsApp and go on their computer, surf and shop and this, that, the next. Then there's a whole, and you know. And people don't care. At the end of the day, people don't care if whether a company is profitable or not.
No, that's not.
Whether an organization is profitable or not. At the end, I just need my paycheck. At the end of the day,
I need my money to go on my account on Friday, please. That's all.
And then most of them, when the money do get their account, you know, what you call these things, direct debits or
they take everything else.
What you call. I can't remember the name. Salary deduction.
Salary deduction.
As quick as they get it's all gone. So a lot of them can't even afford. If they were to lose a job, some of their homes will be wiped out. Things of that sort.
Yeah. And so again, we are very happy that national strike / sick out did not happen. The nation didn't.
Now what's going to happen tomorrow? These are 2 days.
Well, if they didn't do it
now?
If they didn't do it today, you think they'll do it tomorrow?
I hope not.
What does it say for the TUC though, and O.B. Ferguson's influence?
He may be there by himself.
What does it say? What does it say for O.B. Ferguson's influence?
That, you know, at the end of the day, like I said, I mean, for him to make such a big statement yesterday and today, it's basically a no-show. It says a lot. I mean, it speaks to a person's character in terms of whether I don't know if the support you thought you had, or you're just working in your best interest and not the actual individuals.
For his own sake, that he don't get into politics believing he can win something and go to the election like Namu Shaka. He'd be very, very disappointed. That's all I can tell you. Very disappointing.
That's how we got you back.
The Bahamians?
I got you.
Don't listen, son. I tell you. Beyond the Headlines is backward after this. Stay close.
Yeah, you would laugh.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by EV Motors. Drive the future with brand new 2024 electric vehicles. EV Motors, powering your journey.
Hey, Chance Collymore, thank you so much. Let's move this along. So listen, tonight, drug investigators from the United States targeting alleged international drug operations involving Bahamians. Well, Minister of Foreign Affairs Fred Mitchell raised these concerns tonight about strategies being used that could be impacting Bahamians, placing them at the center of high-profile investigations. We get the story from Linton Ritchie, and then we come back and discuss.
It appears that American informants have actually induced Bahamians to fall into error.
With a number of Bahamian men finding themselves behind international bars due to alleged drug crimes, Minister of Foreign Affairs Fred Mitchell expressing concerns to Eyewitness News of what he perceives as signs of alleged entrapment patterns at the hands of United States drug investigators. Last week, two cousins from Grand Bahama, Alfred Lang and Runo Lang, were arrested in waters off Pompano Beach and are now facing charges of attempting to allegedly smuggle approximately 188 kilograms of cocaine into the U.S. And international media reports indicate the family duo was already under watch by U.S. drug investigators due to a drug bust in summer of 2024. Mitchell says the alleged occurrence of Bahamians allegedly being lured in by United States investigators are becoming far too normal.
There's a pattern of conduct with American investigators and law enforcement officers of planting people to induce them to trap themselves into law enforcement problems.
But how much of a wrench can this throw into the country's reputation?
Partners might be unwittingly causing damage to our country by these inducements. So that's a concern. It does, at a superficial level, reputational damage on the country, but not at a fundamental level.
With that U.S. indictment levying allegations of an international alleged drug operation reportedly being orchestrated here in country, and that vessel leaving Bahamian waters driven by the Lang cousins, both reportedly under watch by U.S. officials, Mitchell says the ministry was not aware.
As far as the foreign ministry is concerned, no notice of these operations going through the Bahamas was ever provided to us. So that becomes a serious concern, which we have raised with our international partners.
However, he sends this message to those who may engage in criminal activity.
People are responsible for their individual behavior. They know that this kind of conduct exists. They know that that is the law enforcement modus operandi of U.S. officials. And so, caveat emptor, beware of what is out there, and do not get yourself into these traps.
Well, of course, you heard Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell say that, listen, Bahamians are being ensnared, entrapped. Gentlemen, your thoughts about that? I mean, are Bahamians is there an entrapment where Bahamians are concerned, or are Bahamians just seeing an opportunity to get something real quick and something substantial and just going into it or attempting to go into it?
Shanique, I don't know where the minister, I think maybe he's disconnected with society in terms of people just wanting that quick money. And this isn't nothing new to the Bahamas, No. This in terms of DEU agents being embedded in our society and them seeking out persons, whether they believe or have some inclination that somebody might be in the game, or they, people who want to be looking for a quick come up, and it's just greed. It's greed. So my thing is, it's not, come on, this isn't, the Bahamas is not new to the drug trade. This has been around from the 70s, 80s. So we know what's been happening. This isn't something DU agents appeared in Nassau, came to myself and said, hey, you want to run a load or this, that, the next? Come on, they live here. They've been here for years. They've been in the marinas for years.
Right among us.
It's all, for many, many years. And we see it happen over and over and over. And it's been happening for decades upon decades. So I'm not sure we can't blame our U.S. partner for coming over and trying to say, okay, stop drugs from coming into there. I mean, we don't manufacture drugs, but at the end of the day, we have some persons, we just, and people want to take advantage and they put a quick dollar in their pocket. And of course, you have to suffer the consequences if they're caught.
It is hoped that Bahamians would have learned from what happened last year in this country when we were so disgraced by certain members of the Royal Bahamas Police Force and Defense Force. Why would you put your life at risk? Your children's life, your family life, your reputation finish for a couple of dollars. Why would you do it? Knowing that you're going to ruin somebody's life in another country and in our country too. We had enough of that in the 80s. We have to get out of this mental attitude that I want something for nothing. So I go into drugs. You will suffer the consequences. The consequences is death.
Or you want something quick. My father's always taught me nothing free
can last.
Can last. So at the end of the day, go. Ain't nothing better than putting in the work to reap your rewards.
Get the satisfaction of I work for what I get. This is mine. Nobody can tell me who I thief this from.
Yeah.
That's what life should be, and that's how we got to bring up our children. And all Bahamians should follow in the good footsteps. That if I do wrong, my country